The PS5. It's hard to believe that this console came out 3 years ago in 2020 when we had COVID. Everyone was scalping consoles, Xboxes, PlayStation, Switches, graphics cards. Getting any of this new technology when it first came out was quite hard. But we're over that now. The console's been out 3 years. Let's talk about it. So you can't talk about a console and not talk about the games. Now, some of the exclusives for this console we got Ratchet & Clank Rifts Apart, we got Final Fantasy 16, we got Deathloop, Returnal, just to name a few. Not to mention we also got some bangers like Gran Turismo 7 and God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West that also came out on PS4 as well as PS5. But to get that true experience, you had to experience these games on the PS5. You can't make a video on a console without telling people what it does. So not only does the PS5 play a vast variety of the PS4 games that we've had over the years, it also plays them really well, if not better. Some games like The Last of Us 2 or The Crew 2 have hidden like upgrades that only work on the PS5. They don't work on the PS4, but they work on the PS5, like upscaling or a 60 FPS patch. Talking about you, Bloodborne. Still waiting on that, by the way.
Dancing, walking, rearranging furniture.
But we also got backwards compatibility with PSVR 1. Now, it's an absolute headache. You've got to order an adapter from Sony, where you have to show them your serial number. This adapter takes about 6 weeks. You're better off just buying one on eBay or a retailer that carries them. But yeah, most PSVR 1 games work well. You're going to need a DualShock 4 and obviously the motion controllers. But you're going to get the same experience that you got on a PS4 Pro in terms of what I've played around with and what I've experienced. I've got around the same performance that I did on PS4. And that's what you're going to get for most games in general while running the PS4 versions of the games. You're going to get the PS4 Pro version. But yeah, the PSVR 1 setup is just the same. I'll show you a video. Here's the PSVR 1 setup, here's how I do it. I've got that processor box in there, obviously one to your TV, one to your PlayStation, power cable, and then I also have the micro USB cable here as well. And then that plugs into there. Yeah, I can't be bothered to plug it in, but you get the gist. It's still a headache. Not only that, you also lose access to 120 Hz. So let me go down to the screen video here and go to my current video output signal. The information on connected HDMI devices, you lose 120 Hz. It's gone. Because to that processor box. And then this is the PSVR 2 setup. There's the PSVR 2, there's the end of the cable. And you just plug it in. And it works. But going back to PSVR, we got the PSVR 2 at the start of this year. And we got some great games like Pavlov's, Beat Saber, Resident Evil 8. We also just got a game called Waltz of the Wizards, which I'm currently playing. I'm really enjoying it. It's about magic. But yeah, PSVR 2, I'm going to make a little section of the video based on that. So PSVR 2 is great. It's fantastic. The controllers are just fantastic. The screen in the headset is unbelievable. It's very clear, very crisp. The audio is great. I got no complaints about the hardware. The hardware is very good. It's like a beefed up Quest 2. However, my only problem with it is you get no PSVR 1 support, so you need to buy a PSVR 1. And there's not a lot of games out at the minute, which is a bit of a bummer. Like, with PSVR 1, you got the whole playroom and, you know, you really got sort of, like, nudged into VR. Like, if it was your first time, you really got, like, the comfort of this is your first time. We're going to show you some demos. You can slowly move your way up to the more demanding games. But with PSVR 2, you're kind of just thrown in the deep end. You've got no real demos that are made by Sony. You kind of just have the free demos on the store or the games. And what I've noticed with the games on PSVR 2, they're a lot more demanding. Like with PSVR 1, it was kind of rare to see a game where you'd have to move around, you know, like walking around. Like take Skyrim VR for example. It's a very action-based game. You didn't get a lot of those on PSVR 1. But with PSVR 2, it seems like they're really pushing those types of games that are action-based. And there isn't really a lot of sit-and experience games that you got on PSVR 1.
And do you know why Claire dropped the accessories? No. Why?
Let's talk about the PlayStation official accessories. So we're going to start off with the controllers. They have lots of various different colours. I've got a black one because my original white one broke. The charging dock, a very underrated accessory, I think. I've had mine since launch and I think it's perfect. Not used a cable in a while, but if you're having those long gaming sessions, you're probably going to use a cable. You can also get a charging dock for the PSVR 2 controllers as well. This is huge because then you don't need to plug the controllers into the PlayStation to charge them every so often. You just put them on a dock and then just leave them to charge overnight, and then they'll be fully charged whenever you need them. You obviously had the PS5 media remote as well. I had it for like a month and then I sold it just because I didn't use it. I have a smart TV, but like I'd occasionally use the PS5 for media so I could use my headphones. But let's talk about headphones and headsets. So the main PS5 headset they want you to like use at the minute is a 3D Pulse. And it's a really good headset. I also got one at launch and it's probably the longest I've had a headset in terms of durability. No issues, the battery still holds up really well. I find myself charging it once a week. Once or twice a week. But yeah, in terms of headsets, the PS5 controller still has the 3.5mm jack, so you can use any headset you had on PS4, or you can use the controller mic. I wouldn't recommend it because your mates will hate you, but it gets the job done. You can also use any USB mic or headset. Final accessory I want to talk about is the PlayStation 5 camera. Now I don't know why this exists, because it is strictly used for video streaming. So say if you're like a big live streamer, or you're just live streaming in general, you're not going to be using this at all, because you can't use it on a PC, and if you're really into streaming, you're going to use a laptop or a computer to stream, and you're going to use a nice webcam. I think £40 for this is just a bit much when you can't use it for games, you can't use it for PSVR 1, so to play PSVR 1 you have to use the PS4 camera, you can't use this one. It's just, they could have done more with it. We could have got some games. It maybe could have improved PSVR 2. You could have been able to use it for PSVR 1. That would have definitely added a lot of value. Even using it on a PC without the need of all these dodgy drivers, they could have definitely done something with that camera to make it worth the money. But I think the reason most people are here are to ask the question, is the PS5 worth it? And I can say right now, it definitely is. You can get these new with a game for around 400, disc edition by the way. You could get one used for 300, 350 with some games, some extras. But yeah, PS5s are at a really good deal now. Apparently in America as well, you can get one for $400 and you get a game when you turn it on. So you turn the system on, you sign in with your PSN, and then you get to redeem a game. But in the UK, they're doing something a bit different. So most retailers, you get to pick like one game, and it's not any good games. I think the best one they had was like Forspoken. But yeah, 400 for the console is still pretty good. But I think they're going to be phasing out this PS5 soon, and we're going to get another one. Just because the digital editions, they're not really being sold anymore. And if they are, they're still $380. Like, you're better off just paying the extra £20, $20 and getting the disc edition with a game. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a bit confusing. But yeah, one more thing. Sony, themes and folders, please.